In this third episode, we are now focusing on Mahabharata. Mahabharata is also not considered as history or historical evidence, obviously by foreign authors, but from Indian side, we believe that yes, it is history. Some hyperbole is there. Yeah, we have to accept it. But then also we have to accept that certain facts, records we are getting from Mahabharata. Actually, Mahabharata is, we are saying, written by Maharshi. Maharshi means great sage, Vyasa. But in reality, only part of this great epic that was given by Maharshi Vyasa named as Jai. So initially this epic was having name as Jai, and it was consisting of some 8,000 verses, shloka. Later on, there was another sage named as Vaishampayan. He expanded this Jai to some 24,000 verses. So that means nearly 3 times increase was there, and now this is called as Bharata. Later on, Sauti, another sage, and his disciples expanded this to 1 lakh shloka verses. That means again 4 times or even more than that, 4 times to that of Bharata. And now this was given name as Shata Sahasri Samhita. That means Shata means 100, Sahasra, that means 1,000. So 100,000 script, like that. But popularly this epic is known as Mahabharata, that is Great Bharat, like that some concept is there. Now in this epic we are getting tremendous knowledge about what exactly the ideology was there with India at that time. Say whatever the thing, say whether you can accept it as history or you can accept it as just an epic, then also you are getting various references at time this epic was written. Say for example, various names of kingdoms we are getting here. In case, suppose I should say that in case of Ramayana, we are not getting references of Maharashtra and South India name-wise. But in case of Mahabharata, part of Maharashtra is mentioned there clearly, that is Vidarbha. Vidarbha was considered as part of Aryavarta only at that time, and ruler of Vidarbha named as Rukmi, that is mentioned in Mahabharata. So certain facts we can get from this Mahabharata, or say whatever that we are saying Shata Sahasri Samhita. In case of this Mahabharata, knowledge about that India, historical period, when Mahabharata was written, at that time what was India, some sort of knowledge we are getting from that. There were many kingdoms, particularly they are located in North India and central parts of India. Say for example, we are getting evidences of Magad in Mahabharata. Ancient most reference of Magad that is getting from Mahabharata, as there was a ruler named as Jarasandha, and this Jarasandha was killed in latter phase by a great warrior of Pandava that is named as Bhima. But before that, Jarasandha was able to threaten Yadav kingdom, which was located at Mathura in Uttar Pradesh only. So this way we are getting references from Mahabharata. So this is again thing that we have to accept it as history or not, that is different question. But names of kingdom and whatever we are discussing in further part of Indian history, that we are getting from this side. Now certain problematic records, they are also there. For example, references of Yavanas, they are there. According to some scholars, Yavanas, Yavan means actually in latter phase history, we refer Yavan as Greek people. Further stage, somewhere from 1000 AD onwards, many times Yavan referred as Muslim invader from outside India. And in around 15th century, we are calling any Muslim as Yavan. So this is the changes of word in period. So many historians are saying that no, Yavan, that was category of people mentioned in ancient time, that was there. And maybe possible there are certain doubts that after Greek invasion, some part of Mahabharata must have written, and therefore they are also referring out people of Yavan, or Yavan emperor also attended some sacrifices. So like that references we are getting, they are having some problem. Anyway, we are again focusing on story of Mahabharata now. Mahabharata is predominantly story of Kuru clan or dynasty that was ruled somewhere from Delhi territory in modern days. So parts of eastern part of Punjab to western part of UP, parts of Haryana and all, that was under his kingdom, that is called as Kuru. Now there was Hastinapur. Many scholars are having doubt that Hastinapur is Delhi or Indraprastha is Delhi, but say this is around this vicinity only. So there was a capital named as Hastinapur. Story of Mahabharata really begins with story of Shantanu, the Kuru emperor. Kuru is name of dynasty ruling over Hastinapur. So Shantanu was having one son named as Devavrat. Later on he was called as Bhishma. Whereas Shantanu get married with another woman from fisherman category named as Satyavati. At time of this marriage, one condition was there from Satyavati, that throne should be given to her children and not to Devavrat or that Bhishma. And then Bhishma decided to serve that throne throughout the life without sitting on that throne. Now, in return, he was blessed by his own father Shantanu, as he will not die unless he wants. Now after that, they get married. After this marriage, Shantanu is having son named as Vichitravirya. But Vichitravirya died without getting any legal heir for his emperor. And then Satyavati decides to get a legal heir with process that is called as Niyoga. Satyavati was also having one son prior to her marriage with Shantanu, that named as Maharshi Vyas. He was actually son of great sage Parashara, and so he was called as Parashara also. So from Vyas, Maharshi Vyas, with process we are calling as Niyoga, Vichitravirya was Vichitravirya's wives were able to produce son. But the first wife, just by observing Vyas, closed out his eyes. So it is said that his son was blind from birth. Second, fainted out, and so his son was victim of some sort of anemia. Whereas third, sent her servant rather than going herself, and so that Dasi servant got a son that was very good, but ultimately he was considered as Dasi Putra, that is not from royal family. He was perfect, his name was Vidura. Now this way, with this process, throne was having now 3 participants, but first was considered as not proper because he was blind. So king was not able to fight. What is the drawback here? There is no objection for blindness, but in war he was not good. Second, that was having some problem, but he was considered as emperor, and so this way Pandu, son of second name was Pandu, he was having throne. Now he was very brave and ambitious one. He expanded his empire. He annexed out various other kingdoms and carried out various sacrifices. He was the real person who converted Kuru empire from small empire to big empire. So the problem is here that initially that whatever the empire was there at that time, by law, if I want to say, then elder son must get throne. According to the elder son was Dhritarashtra, he should supposed to sit on the throne, but he was blind. And so that right was given to Pandu, the second son. He not only maintained empire, but expanded empire into vast territory. And so, what is the thing that Pandu's sons also having claim on empire, because their father extended that empire from smaller empire to bigger empire. Now there was problem for Pandu. I am not going in detail now, but that problem was there that he was not able to get son of his own. And at that time, there was another sage named as Durvasa. From Durvasa, there was some blessings given to one of the wife of Pandu named as Kunti. And with help of that, she was having blessing that by using that mantras, she can get pregnant from any god she wish. Actually, she tried this before marriage and she got a son from Sun. That means S-O-N from S-U-N. That is named as Karna. But she was frightened out and ultimately that child was simply sent into river from small boat. But after marriage, after this problem was there with Pandu, Kunti asked him that should we use that mantras to get son from God, and Pandu allowed it. And then Pandu, rather than I should say Kunti, got 3 sons. One that is from Yama, named as Yudhishthira. Second one from Indra, named as Arjuna. Second one was Bhima. And third one was from Indra, that is Arjuna. Pandu was having another wife named as Madri. Again keep in mind, Kunti was from Kuntala Desh. Madri was from Madra Desh. Don't consider it as Madras. Madra Desh was name of some parts of Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir. We can say around Jammu, towards side of Punjab. So Madra Desh, so Madri. So from Madri, ultimately Kunti given some of the mantras to Madri, and then Madri got 2 sons, Nakula and Sahadeva. They were twins. Like that, 5 Pandavas. Pandava means son of Pandu. No doubt, they are not directly son of Pandu, but still their father was Pandu, so we are calling him as Pandava. Pandava is called as Tadhit in Sanskrit. Tadhit means here the word derived from something. So original word is Pandu. From Pandu it is called as Pandava. Whereas intentionally we can say that sons of Dhritarashtra were called as Kauravas. Why? Because they were original from Kuru clan and therefore they named themselves as Kauravas. Again keep in mind, Kaurava word is also Tadhit. It is derived from Kuru. So it is the thing. Now in case of Dhritarashtra, it is said that his wife was Gandhari. Again, I don't know real name. Gandhari is mentioned. There is territory in northwest part of Pakistan today that is called as Northwest Frontier Region. Peshawar, then Takshashila, all these territories. They are there in northwest part of Pakistan. But in those days, that was called as Gandhar Desh. Eastern part of Afghanistan and western part of Pakistan. That combiningly, they were having name as Gandhar. And she was princess of Gandhar, so she was called as Gandhari. So Dhritarashtra's wife was Gandhari, one of the wife. And then she got, supposed to be, she was pregnant. But instead of any son or daughter, she delivered a piece of flesh only. Later, Maharshi Vyas divided that piece of flesh into several pieces and kept in kumbh. Kumbh means some vessel. And then from that, the sons were developed. Like that, some 100 sons were developed for Dhritarashtra. Really, we have to focus on this type. Certain evidences are there. If we are saying it is mythology, then it's all right. But if we are looking out something like historical evidences, just we have to imagine that what kind of science was developed, or at least, if I am saying it is mythology, then also at least thinking ability of people should be at that level, that this is something we can say that is from zygote. We can carry out 8 offsprings at a time. Homozygous twins, or twins I should say octet. So 8 children can obtain from single zygote. But this technology here, they discuss is something different. If you are studying out, particularly we can say tissue culture. So this is some sort of tissue culture technology. You can check out in biology. We are saying this as tissue culture, and from tissue culture we are producing out some callus, and from that we are able to produce out same offsprings, n number of offsprings from single to n number set. Anyway, that is biology. I am not introducing here, but this is the thing we have to consider. And then what kind of knowledge was having with Maharshi Vyasa, that he was able to create out this all thing. Anyway, so this way 100 sons were there for Dhritarashtra, whereas 5 sons were there for Pandu, 3 from Kunti and 2 from Madri. Pandu was having some curse, and therefore he settled out outside the palace, particularly in forest only he stayed out. Caretaker of this throne was Bhishma, that means Devavrata. He was caretaker, and on throne, now throne was given in hands of Dhritarashtra. And then there was problem that who is real emperor, because actually throne should be there in hands of Dhritarashtra, but because another person was more eligible in the same family, so chance was given to Pandu. But after that, Duryodhan means son, elder son of Dhritarashtra, he was claiming that throne should be there in hands of Duryodhan, whereas Yudhishthira, the elder son of Pandu, he was claiming that throne should be there in hands of Yudhishthira. And then there was problem between Kaurav and Pandav. Initially, they were staying together. After death of Pandu, Kunti returned back to Hastinapur and they started staying together. But at that time only, there were fightings and relations were not good between Kaurav and Pandav. Later on, they got education, initially from one of the sage as well as warrior named as Krupacharya, and later on from Dronacharya. But at that time also, there was supremacy struggle between Kauravas and Pandavas. Ultimately, Arjun was considered as best in archery, where another story parallel going over there, that is story of Karna. As we discussed in earlier part, that Kunti was, when she was unmarried, at that time she got these mantras from Durvas, and then she just tried one mantra, and then she got son from sun, whereas simply she sent that child in river through boat, and that boat was just received by a driver, chariot driver from Hastinapur named as Adhirath. As he was having this son, he considered as it is God-given gift. And then Karna, he named it as Karna, and he was there with Adhirath. He was chariot driver, and so this is actually class system. He was not given equal status to that of Kshatriyas. But still, one thing one should note that whenever Kauravas were trained at that time, Karna was also trained by Dronacharya. Now, but Dronacharya was not teaching him or giving all the knowledge, as he was not Kshatriya. But Karna was excellent in archery, as well as all other types of war, whereas Arjun was excellent in archery and not in other wars. Karna started out competition with Arjuna. As none of the Kauravas was able to compete with Arjun, Duryodhana started supporting out Karna, and both Karna and Duryodhana became friends, and they maintained their friendship till death after that. Karna was ambitious one. So this story is also going with parallel in that. Ultimately, after getting their completion of education, everybody was tested, where Arjun was challenged by Karna, and at that time Karna was also forced to tell his clan, and as he was not Kshatriya, Dronacharya said that there should not be battle between Kshatriya and non-Kshatriya, and so non-Kshatriyas are not able to challenge out Kshatriya. Like that, some via media was taken, and this fight was not happened at that time. Then Duryodhana decided to kill these Pandavas by some different way, not directly, by indirect method. They prepared one house made up of lac, wax, and all these oily matter. And as Pandavas stayed over there, simply they set out fire from outside, as these Pandavas should burn away. But at that time, Pandavas managed to escape from this house, and after some period they returned back. While returning back, they were having wife with them that is named as Draupadi, a daughter of Drupad. Panchal kingdom was there, and from this Panchal kingdom the daughter was there that was produced from a sacrifice, and from that Drupad got his daughter. So that's why she is called as Yajnaseni. Yajna means sacrifice. So like that, Pandavas were having one wife. All Pandavas married with only that Draupadi initially. Later on, they were having their own wives also. But common wife was there, and that's why Draupadi was again and again taunted by other people, contemporary people at that time, because say polygyny was popular, but polyandry was not popular in those days, and even today also. So this is the problem. In certain tribal region of India, polyandry is also possible. It is there, and they are considering Draupadi and Pandavas as their idol. Anyway, so this is about Draupadi. And then there was a decision-making period. Two kingdoms were separated out. Pandavas were given a throne, half part of their empire, whereas Kauravas retained half part. Hastinapur was retained by Kauravas, whereas there was a jungle named as Khandavan, in one war, Arjun burnt out that jungle, forest, and then on that land they produced out their own capital named as Indraprastha. So this way, two kingdoms were separated from single kingdom. I am finishing out first part of Mahabharata. Actually, I am making compress, and I want to finish out entire Mahabharata in less than 1 hour's time. But still, it is very difficult for me to compress out 1 lakh verses into form of little bit. So I am not going in every detail of Mahabharata, only important parts we are here just discussing.